How peaceful it must be for you to have a mind unburdened by thought.
Excuse me?
Oh, well, I agree with this choice.
Really? Both of you?
It is said that ignorance is bliss. Tell me, is that true?
Yes.
I don't have to put up with this. You guys are mean. The Zealot is the Protoss basic unit, a powerful melee warrior with some serious anger issues. They are produced from the Gateway/Warp Gate for only 100 minerals apiece. 2 supply cost, 50 shields, 100 life, 1 base armor, and they are tagged as light and biological. Their attack comes in the form of their 2 Psi Blades, dealing a total of 16 damage every 0.86 seconds to melee targets. Before I can continue, I must discuss the research available for Zealots at the Twilight Council. Costing 100, charge does 2 things. 1, it increases the base movement speed of all Zealots from 3.15 to 4.7. That's the same speed as a Marine hyped up on a stim pack, guys. Secondly, it gives all Zealots an active ability, set to auto-cast by default, Charge. If the ability is able to be used, and the Zealot is targeting an enemy within range 4, Charge will activate, and the Zealot will begin to chase down its target with a temporary movement speed of 10.4. In other words, it charges the target. Shocking, I know. Suffice to say, this upgrade is mandatory if you plan to use Zealots in any real capacity. Of the 3 factions' basic units, Zealots are valued for their durability. Sure, their damage output is solid too, but their role as a meat shield or a distraction to the opponent is not to be underestimated. It is not uncommon to find them paired with many other Protoss options, Archons, Immortals, Colossi, etc. The Zealot can keep enemies occupied, protect vulnerable ranged units, and not interfere with its allies' attacks, since the Zealots are a melee unit. As far as usage of Zealots is concerned, try not to think about it too much. If you spend more time worrying about your expendable units than your macro and your production, people just might accuse you of being a Terran player. Jokes aside, just A-move them. Sure, you can retreat when necessary, or maneuver some around to a better position, or try to get us around, but do not lose sight of what's important. Lastly, know that Zealots are likely to be your best choice for run-by attacks and harassment. They're a low-cost investment, they have great mobility, especially if you utilize a warp prism, and are more than happy to take out their frustrations on an innocent SCV. Zealots are scary, plain and simple. No, not because they're good, it's more in this futuristic sci-fi setting. These guys actually choose to wield swords. Madness, I say. Outside of a proxy gate attack, Zealots should be a laughable threat in the early game. Ranged units simply outclass them until charge is on the board. Once charge is in play, then your counterplay may require a bit more decision-making. For starters, you need to make sure that you have enough units. Past that point, here are some ideas to consider. Build some anti-light units, get a source of splash damage, Or, you know, any air-to-ground unit. Thank goodness they haven't learned how to throw those side blades. Terran players, dealing with Zealots comes down to sapping their durability. A traditional MMM biocomposition should have little trouble out-damaging the Zealots, so long as you are not caught in a bad position or caught unaware. To augment your infantry, consider adding in Widow Mines. Even though their splash damage can hurt friendly Terran units if the Zealots get into melee, their bonus damage versus the shields is still considerable. As with most Protoss threats, I must bring up the Ghost. Two major reasons here. One is the obvious EMP ability, one shot to remove all of the shields from a group of Zealots. The other reason is that Ghosts have a bonus damage versus light targets. Yeah, seriously, I forget about that too sometimes. They are way too valuable. Protoss players, Zealots are not as common in the standard PvP as one might expect. Unless someone uses them as a gotcha kind of build, they simply get outclassed throughout most stages of the match. Both Stalkers and Adepts can easily kite the slow lots throughout the early game. For the later stages of the game, look to your heavy-hitting splash sources. Archons have their bonus damage versus biological targets, and enough anger to give a Zealot pause, and Colossi have their bonus versus light tagged units. They're both great options. Zerg, charge lot openings, and all-ins are a sadly common sight. Generally, the best counter is simply having enough units that are not Zerglings. I'm going to recommend ranged units as the #1 choice. A standard Roach, Ravager, Hydra composition should have little trouble.
Justice be done.
Another option for you Ling lovers, once a decent economy is established, is of course the Baneling. Splash damage, bonus damage versus light targets. Banes will shut down the Zealots easily. The problem is usually having enough macro to support it, since the Banes are, very committed to their work. An iconic staple for Protoss that has been around since the original game, Zealots are not going anywhere, especially to their anger management classes. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful and that you have a great day.
Allied forces in combat.
Ula Sadari.